A jury in New York on Friday ordered that former President Trump must pay E. Jean Carroll more than $83 million in damages for defamation after he said she was a whack job and wasn't his type. So this verdict follows a separate trial from last year where a jury found that Trump had sexually assaulted her in a department store dressing room in the 90s. Here's what Carroll said she would do with the money. Take a look.
I'd like to give the money to something Donald Trump hates. If it will cause him pain for me to give money to certain things, that's my intent. Well, perhaps a fund for the women who've been sexually assaulted by Donald Trump.
Now, on the flip side, the lawyer representing Trump had this to say after the ruling on Friday.
We will immediately appeal. We will set aside that ridiculous jury. And I just want to remind you all of one thing. I will continue with President Trump to fight for everybody's First Amendment right to speak. Everybody's a right to defend themselves when they are wrongfully accused and to be able to say, I didn't do it.
So what do you all think of this? And do you believe that Carroll will actually ever see any of the money? What do you think, Erica?
Yes. It's like this story feels so convoluted because you have the actual civil case, which she was awarded $5.5 million or something like that. Okay. And so that money is currently in escrow, pending any appeal. And then you have the $83 million, which I don't know, that's unclear to me, but I do understand that the reason why the $83 million was decided on to begin with is because he disparaged her in public. And when you think about it just on paper, so you have someone who came forward with sexual assault allegations. It was in court decided that the defendant, Donald Trump, was liable and to the tune of $5 million. So that's done. Then the person who was found guilty or liable, I should say, in a civil suit, has gone on to disparage the person who the court decided was the victim. So it's just a really,
excuse me,
like just on its, it's so egregious to think about what it really means, that to get to that $83 million, it feels like it's symbolic of the idea that we don't know how else to make you realize that this is serious than to get you where it counts, which is in the pockets.
What do you think, Jeff?
I don't know. 83 seems a little high for me. You know, that's all I'm thinking about right now is, sorry, feel better. No, go away. Go, yeah. No, get a drink. We're just confused over here. And so this is a confusing topic, to be perfectly honest with you, because you try to look at it impartially, but everyone is going to say, oh, you're taking this side, you're taking that side. I just look at it and it has no correlation whatsoever. When someone is wrongfully accused in jail for 40 years and they get out, the government's like, well, you know what, we took away 40 years of your life. Here's $1 million or $1 or $2 or $3 million. That should compensate you for the rest of your life. Was E. Jean Carroll ever going to make $83 million in her life? Did this stop her from making money? I don't know if it did happen or it did happen. I don't know the facts of the case. The amount that people are suing for these days is super egregious. And was that related to the case itself, or was that related to because Donald Trump was involved?
Yeah, I think
those are great questions.
I was going to say really quickly, those are good questions. And I think it is because Donald Trump is involved. When you have a spotlight like he does, and you have passionate followers like he does. We saw with Nancy Pelosi, her husband was attacked with a hammer in his home. We saw with the Rudy Giuliani, the two black women, the vote counters that had to move from their homes. Once I, as the president, say Jeff Schroeder is bothering me, that means for the rest of your life you will get death threats. That means for the rest of your life people will actually try and carry those out. We saw this with Sandy Hook as well. When you have a following of a couple 100 million passionate people, when you point that spotlight at somebody, you've forever changed their lives and their families' lives. They'll find out where your kids go to school. You have to uproot yourself. Everybody from Sandy Hook, those parents had to move from their homes. You know, and so I think that's what we're talking about. It's almost like being a mob informant for the FBI, like you're gone now. You know,
and you think that's what E.G. Carroll represents?
I don't think that's what she represents. I think it's because he has maybe the biggest spotlight in the world. I think that's the way to get him to stop, because $5 million at a time, he's going to continue to do it.
Interesting conversation. Thank you for both your perspectives.